Alright y'all, so last time I said I was gonna do a video analyzing and ranking the tearjerker anime I've watched. Sadly, my screen recorder was not working, so I don't have the footage of making the tier. And I usually don't make the order of the subjects in each tier matter, but the ones closest to the front mean they're more of what I'm ranking. But anyway, let me shut up and let's get into this, shall we? Alright, so I'm gonna start with the least and work my way up. Air was a bit of an enigma to me. I'm surprised I was able to follow the story. At least I think I did. It's basically a fantasy about the so-called winged maiden, who, if she gets too close to someone and starts to care for them, well, I think you probably know what happens. I think part of the reason I put it at the bottom was because the story was a little all over the place to me. It went from this pessimistic vagrant guy who does puppetry meeting this mysterious maiden to a full-fledged mystical time period type anime. I was a bit confused to say the least. But this doesn't mean I didn't cry like a baby watching it. But I'm gonna tell y'all why. I think a lot of people may have missed this, but I highly think Misuzu is autistic. Hear me out. I think we're used to always seeing fictional characters on the spectrum portrayed a certain type of way, that a character just seen for having cute quirks might be overlooked. They make a note that she really likes dinosaurs, like a lot, to the point where she'll make a gar sound when she's upset. But I think the part that made me cry was towards the end, when her aunt started to try and step up to take care of her. It really gave like a knowing family member trying to understand someone who they found out is neurodivergent. It was heartfelt. It made me cry. But besides from that, I think Air was overall too depressing. Like, I like a well-written tearjerker, but Air was like another depressing arc after the other. And I was like, can we focus on one main sad story? And have some lighthearted moments to soften the wounds? No? Okay then. Also, it was very confusing, because after the part where Yukito tries to figure out how to really find happiness in the puppetry his mother taught him, he literally just vanishes. Like, I don't know what happened to bro, and they never explained it at all. He just vanished. But aside from all of this, the aesthetic of Air is very close to the aesthetic I'd like to give my game if I ever get an opportunity to make that anime seem. I was talking about a little while ago, but moving on. I felt kinda bad putting Clannad this low on the tiers because I know it's considered a classic. But these tiers don't mean the ones toward the bottom weren't an interesting watch. I'm more ranking them off of feels and impact to me. But the reason why Clannad was put here, sadly it's because like 70% of the anime was all the arcs that were in the visual novel game, I guess. But some of it dragged. I think if it mainly focused on Nagisa and Tomoya, and then the After Story series, I would have put it higher on the list because as if I'm only ranking off After Story, which is basically season 2, I'd put it third in the top tier. I cried. And I cried a lot though. But all in all, I like Clannad. Now moving on to the movie with the most awkward name, I Wanna Eat Your Pancreas. I'm a little upset y'all, and I'ma tell y'all why. I really like this movie. I cried multiple times watching it. The characters were written interestingly, other than a few questionable scenes. But I'm upset because I feel like it would have been so much better had it been a series and not a movie. It makes me upset because I literally could have had another Your Lie in April to watch, but they decided on making it an hour and something movie, and I'm like, how? Sakura really seemed low-key like Cody, and that's one of my fave types of character personalities. The friend was a lil annoying though. Like, calm down bro. You ain't her mama. But anyway, Anohana. Yeah, I really don't know what to say about it other than they captured the whole feels and nostalgia thing. I liked a lot of the character, except some of them annoying. Some of the jokes were kinda weird to be honest. But extracting all that, I really like the aesthetic of the show a lot. Like, I don't know what it is about that rural countryside summer aesthetic that I just like so much. I also really like the animation style. But about the story, I think it's kinda like the opposite of nice story, but it was portrayed wrong. Like, I think the story was a lil weak, but the way they made the characters feeling made it have more feels. Because the reasoning behind a lot of the actions in the show didn't make sense. Like, a lot of stuff could have been avoided. But I guess that's what makes it a story, and obviously, I liked something about because I put it in the top tier. And now lastly, but certainly not least, we have Your Lie, April. I'ma be honest with y'all. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with this. This show is low-key manipulative, bro. Like, the bones of this series, I like a lot. Why else would I put it on the top tier? It has a great OST. Lovely visuals and scenery. I really like how poetic the characters talk in this show. I like the personalities. I like the pacing. Just a solid tearjerker all in all. But y'all know there's a but. Spoiler warning, the way the concluded Tsubaki's storyline was annoying as freak. Like, what do you mean this girl has been friends with this dude for years? He basically says his life is dull, even with her in it. And all that just make it some bittersweet, ending to be like, oh, it's so sweet now that it's only Tsubaki. Kosei has to end up with her. Like, nah, fam. She was second choice. And no, I'm not saying I'm mad at the character Kosei for this. People are gonna like who they're gonna like, and that's fine. It's more for the writing, like, what if Tsubaki doesn't like him anymore? Maybe he missed his opportunity. But no, she's just there waiting. But aside from that, out of all the anime tearjerkers I've watched, I think Your Lie in April captures the core of a solid, sad anime the best. The whole tone was spot on, and it's the most I take inspo from when working on my tearjerker stories. I like it. So yeah, y'all. That was my ranking on the tearjerkers.